Good morning, Facebook family. How's everybody doing? We are having a little technical difficulty this morning. I apologize for that, but we are doing our best to get everything up. Sloan is trying to get in, as well as Krista. We just did a new link. And there is Sloan. I see her. And we'll saying, hey, Sloan, we're live already. So good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty
Wow.
good. How are you doing?
Great. I've got Trigger here. I got Trigger in here this morning. Come here, baby. Say hi to Auntie Sloan.
Hey, girl.
She's so miserable. Her little belly is big already for only a few weeks, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
It's probably a lot of puppies. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know, Sloan Lyons is a member of our instructor staff and a pro staffer for us. And she also owns her own business. And when I first met you, Sloan, how old were you when we first met?
I think it's probably been 6 years ago. So I would have been 20.
In her early 20s. Let's say early 20s.
Yeah.
And y'all, you're not going to believe this, but she already owned her own business and was running a successful business, and it's Sns Outdoors. And that is where my dog Trigger came from. And it's been quite an honor to have one of your dogs, and especially one of your dogs that you train. Hey, Crystal.
Morning.
We tell everyone we have technical difficulties, so we're jumping right in here. So, so Sloan, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do. And I love your shirt.
Thanks. The business name is Sns Outdoors. We have a 56-run indoor kennel where we do boarding along with various types of training from obedience, retriever training, blood tracking, shed dogs, and also a little bit of upring training as well for flushing dogs. So we do a little bit of everything. Yeah. If it deals with dogs, we try to do it.
Yeah, you do. And so I guess on that, as people have dogs, what I personally am a big believer in training, and what you've done with Trigger and training her early on has made a huge difference in the type of dog I have at home, because I have an obedient dog if I do what I'm supposed to do. What advice do you have to pet owners out there? Because, on the 22nd, it is National Make a Dog's Day. I never heard of it. We're going to learn about it. But it's exciting when you can treat your pets to something good.
Oh yeah. I would say the biggest thing with pet owners is start training them early. If you start when they're a pup, as soon as you get them establishing what you want them to do, as they grow older, it helps make a big difference in the training that I do. And just a big difference, even if you don't ever take them to another trainer, just it gets them prepared. If you start making them be obedient at a young age, that's going to carry on as they get older. If you let them get out of hand at a young age, that's also going to carry on as they get older. So the biggest thing is just start them when they're young and teach them the things that you're going to want them to do.
Yeah, I got to know, Sloan, how in the world did you even start this process? Is it something you've always wanted to do? Have dogs always been a part of your life?
So they have. It's it'll be a few minutes of a story here, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So actually, dogs have always been a part of our life. My parents had Goldens and bred Goldens as we were growing up. And so starting whenever I was 3, my dad took me out hunting for the first time. I had asked him to go, and he dropped everything he had going on, got all my gear, and got me ready with a blanket, snacks, and everything to make me comfortable, and took me out.
How old were you?
I was 3.
Wow.
So he kind of thought that would be it because I fell asleep. But after that, I asked him, I was like, so when are we going again? And he realized then girls hunt too, because he was pretty upset that he had girls instead of boys. But so from there, we got into duck hunting when I was probably 7 or 8. And then we just started looking for a dog because he wanted a hunting dog and we wanted a house dog. Well, he wandered into a local kennel, and they actually had pups. So we purchased a puppy from him, had him train the dog, and we started running HRC events with her. And so I was still young, and as I was watching this come along, I decided that I wanted me a dog to do this with as well. So I wound up keeping one of her puppies, and I did all the puppy training with her, and then we took her to the same trainer. And as she was getting trained, I would go over every day after school and be a part of the training process. And then I also started working for him in the summer. And once I got into ninth grade, we had decided that from there, 10th and 11th grade, I was going to be homeschooled. That way I could work for him full time because he had lost his other partner. So I started working for him full time, worked for him for 8 years, and then starting in 2011, broke away from him and started Sns Outdoors. So really, I just started with wanting a hunting dog, and then here we are with a 56 run kennel.
Right, but look at all those ribbons behind you, because you're not just raising hunting dogs, you're raising champion hunting dogs. Explain that, what HRC is and what that meant, because that's not an easy task to get those ribbons.
Yeah. So it's called the Hunt Retriever Club. They have a pass and fail system. They try to set up hunting type tests, and you go and you're running your dog against the standard. They have different levels: a started level, a season level, and a finish level. And then they also have the Grand every 6 months, which is a 5-day event. 4 days of retriever stuff as far as land and water. And then from there, on the 5th day, you have, if you make it that far, you have an upland series where they put out quail, pheasants, or chuckers, and your dog has to hunt for them, find them, and flush them. And then when the bird flushes, sit on a whistle, stay steady until you release them.
Awesome. Now, do hunting dogs have to be retrievers? I mean, can you train any dog to be a hunting dog?
You somewhat can. Actually, let me get my little dog right here.
Oh, y'all aren't going to believe this little puppy. Faye! Hi, Faye!
This is actually one of my retrievers here. She's a Jack Russell, and I got her because I wanted her to be a blood tracking dog, and I wanted to have a little dog. We never had little dogs. And she does great with the blood tracking, but she also showed interest in retrieving. So I started training her for retrieving and planned to do a little bit of dove hunting with her. She did awesome at that, but also loved the water. So I pretty much trained her a lot like I do my labs. And she retrieves ducks, and she's even retrieved some speckle-bellied geese and Canadian geese.
Wow.
So,
That's a little
more, if not bigger.
Oh, he's so adorable.
But the biggest thing is, especially if you have a breed that's not really designed for being a hunting dog, is to start them when they're a puppy and go ahead and start instilling that excitement.
How do you do that?
So the way that I start my retrieving dogs is I'll try to start in a hallway or somewhere tight. That way there's not a whole lot of distractions, and start with a little puppy bumper and just tease them, hey, hup, 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 and get them pretty excited about it, and then throw it. I mean, start out just a few feet away from you, and then as they're coming back with it, really get pretty excited with them and let them know that what they're doing is what you want them to do, and that it's a good thing. And then from there, you gradually extend the length and extend the distractions.
The distractions, yeah.
Yes.
I can see where that would be a challenge with
and you also keep the sessions very short. I always tell people, starting out, just do 2 to 3 retrieves, because you always want to put them up wanting more.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Well, you did that with Trigger. We can throw the bumper for Trigger for like 3 hours, and she still wants more. Like, the dog is exhausted. Of course, now I'll show everybody Trigger. She's taking a little nap on her little doggy pillow there.
Yeah. But I would say the biggest. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sloan.
I will say that, the biggest reason that I am able to do what I do now is because of my parents, bringing me up and getting me involved in this. There's been a lot of time and money spent and a lot of miles driven to get me where I am today. And that's also something I started realizing whenever I was in high school. There were a lot of girls that wanted to hunt and wanted to do stuff like I did, but their parents weren't involved in it, or they just never took them out. And that's part of why I really like Shoot Like a Girl, is because we get to give them their first shots, or kind of let them have that opportunity that a lot of people don't get.
Right. And that's one of the awesome things with you being one of our instructors. We know a little bit about your hunting habits. You might be one of the most, for lack of a better word this morning, extreme hunters that I know. Right. And I heard that when I met your parents and even your husband. They talk a lot about, if you can hunt, you're going to be in the woods.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I drive them nuts.
Right. We know we're trying to get her to cancel a hunting trip to come help us in Myrtle Beach next weekend.
And that was a no-go. That was a big no-go. So if someone is looking at, maybe they've not done a good job of that initial obedience with their dog, or they've gotten a new puppy and they did the quick, let's make them sit, but we kind of got lax with what they're doing, and they want to invest in puppy training, dog training, obedience training, whatever you want to call it. How would they vet? I mean, we'd love for them all to come to you, but I've heard about your schedule. You're running a pretty tight, really popular program there. So getting in can maybe not be easy. How would they vet a trainer?
So you can look online, is a big thing, but you want to also be very careful when you choose a trainer, because to be honest, we're not all equal. Some trainers, may not exactly know what they're doing, or they're a little too rough with the dog. And that's another thing too, as far as personality of dog. Some trainers do better with certain personality of dogs as well. But the biggest thing is, look online, look for reviews and testimonials on the trainer. I also recommend trying to find somebody, if possible, near your area. That way you can go be a part of the training, because that's something that I do. The first 2 weeks is no visitation with me, and then after that, I want the owner to start coming up and being part of the training program. That way I don't say, okay, here's your trained dog, now good luck. I always tease that I kind of train the dog and the owner. But just really look and go visit the facility. That's something I allow here. You come see the kennel, talk to me in person. That way you're comfortable with what's gonna happen training wise before you drop your dog off.
I mean, for an owner that's had you train her dog, it was really scary when I picked Trigger up, because here I am. I don't know how to make her behave like she behaved for you. And honestly, we just picked Trigger up because Sloan has bred Trigger to another Labrador, and we're going to have puppies in November. But when she came back this time, she was such a much better dog just from being with you for a couple weeks, and that consistency. Because I think as owners, we tend to start spoiling them, and we don't hold them to the standard 100% of the time. And so with Trigger this time, I've been really trying to be persistent with making her do the things that she's supposed to do, and not letting her get by with any of that crap. Dogs are smart. This dog right here knows how to push my buttons and get what she wants, for sure. So when I first picked Trigger up when she was a puppy, I took her to Bella's, and she was off the chain, and I had no idea what to do. And I'm thinking, what did I do? And it was because I wasn't even trying to make her behave the right way. And duck dogs, so this is interesting. So what's really cool is when Trigger's working and we have her sit, and she'll sit there, we can throw the bumper, and until we say her name, she doesn't go. And why is it that you use the dog's name to send them on their mark?
I use her name because if you're in a blind hunting with another buddy that also trained the dog, and we use the same go command, like if you use fetch, both dogs are going to take off, because especially if they're excited like Trigger is about going, the slightest, if it's even close to the command they're supposed to go on, a lot of times they're going to be taken off. So I use their name so that it's something different. That way, if you are hunting with another person, you can send your dog and you don't have to worry about the other person's dog going.
Yeah. So
I mean, that makes sense.
how do people get information about you, Sloan? And we'll put your web link up.
Yeah, you can put up www.snsoutdoors.com. You can also look on Facebook. We have Facebook, Sns Outdoors. Those would probably be the two best ways. And then you can also, if you're in the area and you are looking for training, you can give me a call at 704-577-2511.
Awesome. Now, how long does the dog normally stay once they come?
So that part varies depending on what type of training you're wanting to have done, as well as the dog, because just like kids, they learn at different speeds as well. I have a minimum of a month, and that would be basically just getting them started on leash obedience there.
Okay.
And it goes up from there. I mean, it can be, 10, 12 months, depending on exactly what all they're wanting done.
Do you train year round, or do you have an off season that people shouldn't expect that you're going to be working dogs?
So I actually closed down right around Thanksgiving for about 2 months. I'll open back up about middle to late January.
That wouldn't have anything to do with hunting season, would it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Juanita had a comment here, and she said, I'd never separate from my dog. I have to train him myself. And I have to tell you, I feel you, because I was like I hate when they go away. And it was very hard, but the difference between my training and professional training was night and day. And if you're skilled and can train them yourself, good for you. But man, it was, I definitely got my same dog back, and my dog was well taken care of the whole time. And so I think people think that the dogs aren't loved while they're trained, and you still spend time playing with them outside of their training, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They go out 4 to 5 times a day here. I actually live here, so it's just kind of like your schedule at home, first thing in the morning, and then last thing before I go to bed. It doesn't matter what time that is. The dogs still get to go out. I try to group them up with other dogs around their age. That way they can play and, have some downtime with that as well. But yes, I'll get them out and just pet them and love on them throughout the day as well. So they're not upset.
I was fortunate enough to visit for a brief period recently, and it was awesome to watch just the little work that I got to see done, and how impressive it was to watch them be, controlled. I have to say, my dogs are so out of control. It's like no going back. To watch a dog sit patiently and wait for what the next step is, and then to come back to that person and give the bumper back was just incredible. So that doesn't happen at my house. We are over our 15 minutes. And of course, we started a little bit late this morning because we were all having some technical difficulties. Sloan, thanks so much for joining us and sharing SNS Outdoors. I don't think that a lot of dog owners realize that there are opportunities to have just obedience training. It doesn't have to be hunting dog training, or vice versa. And that maybe they should look in their local area if they want that extra step done and break those bad habits like my dogs have going on.
Absolutely.
So we have a few housekeeping things. Don't forget, everyone, please like, comment, and share this post to be entered to win a prize pack next week. We have our winner from last week. If you'll recall, we had Evan Williams from Hoyt. Hoyt came on and announced their new Eclipse bow, which is that's right, Karen, right? The Eclipse bow that they've created for the female market. And they're going to be giving away a shirt and a hat, a little package to the winner. And that winner is Kelly Whitney. So congratulations, Kelly. I'll reach out to you and get your mailing address and your t-shirt size. Yay, Kelly. And we'll do the same thing going in for next week. Sloan, do you have anything you want to share with us before we leave today? Any final words?
So I would just, recommend, like I said, start young with your pup, especially if you're wanting to have them, do something that may be out of their breed. And then just if they're just like kids, so stay consistent. Lots of repetition.
Yeah.
And that'd probably be it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. We know you have a busy day. Karen, anything that you have to share?
So I want to tell everyone we had a great time this weekend in Garner, North Carolina. We had 152 women attend the trailer. So that was ridiculous. Sloan was there with us. So if y'all are watching that, we're in Myrtle Beach next weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So come out and see us there if you're in the Myrtle Beach area. And we really appreciate everyone's support. And I hope y'all have a great week. It's going to be fantastic.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.